start, Will,
You bring me on
we
my
really just really just want to talk to you about all like the great business stuff that you did, and then you can let us know everything that you got going on right now. We know that you're about to launch Dame Dash Studios, and so we'll definitely touch on that.
Yeah, just go ahead, bro. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's basically.
Just shoot.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do it.
Yeah, it's easy.
Good. All right. Cool. Let's do it.
What's going on, everybody? This is Tim.
And this is MB.
And this is Off the Record, a place where we have conversations with the dopest people in all aspects of business. And we're going to bring you plenty of game and more insight with this one.
And now we have the pleasure of speaking to a living legend, a pioneer in the hip-hop and business world, someone who has consistently fought for his people, someone who has gave the culture so much game and showed us how to be a boss and continues to inspire many of us till this day. It's my honor to welcome the legendary Dame Dash to Off the Record. Dame, thank you for being with us today. How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. Pause.
No problem. Thank you.
Dave, I wanted to ask you, obviously our audience knows who you are, but for those few people that do not, how would you describe yourself when you introduce yourself to people?
I don't really describe myself, I couldn't. That's something that, I do what inspires me, and I just do it well and honestly, and I do it at a professional level without compromise of integrity or morals or principles,
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what I could say.
Yeah.
I'm a history maker and a dream catcher,
Yes, sir. So, Dame, I think initially the public recognizes you as being a great businessman and entrepreneur, but you're clearly an artist and a Renaissance man, as well, from directing films to producing shows to acting, playing instruments, producing music to fashion to opening galleries, everything. Out of all of those, which one brings you the most joy?
Right now, being a parent, having a little, I got a little baby, and
congratulations on that, by the way. Congrats.
Thank you, and being able to, enjoy that with a woman that I'm in love with, in a very balanced and, like in a non, like I'm used to being in fucked up situations. You know what I'm saying? And this is the best.
Yeah.
This is what I've been dreaming about my whole life, is finding a girl I could chill with, making a baby, and just growing and being happy and doing it in luxury, But I love making music, but not for money. I love the band. I love making movies. I'm inspired by a lot of different kinds of things at different times. It's almost insanity how often I'm inspired and how I have to react to everything that inspires me.
Yeah.
But I've been lucky enough to monetize things that I love and that I would do creatively for free and make a business of that. I think I'm more known right now to this generation just for what I'm saying and what I've been consistently saying for a long time. And, becoming independent at one time was like a crazy thing, and now that's the thing. And it's, it's like seeing the reaction to people when what I was saying before, how they reacted then into how they react now, it's a completely different thing. It's funny how things shift, you know what I mean? But the truth at the end of the day prevails. And if it's really the truth, the only test of the truth is your patience until it reveals itself and how much confidence you have in that.
Yeah, I've seen so much old footage of you from the 90s and stuff, and you were literally saying the exact same shit, which is crazy, till this day. Same delivery too, real brash and abrasive and just blunt, straight to the point. So that is just kind of crazy to see how everything has come back full circle, and especially how this generation is.
And that intimidates people too. That intimidates people. I feel like
fake people, dishonest people. Yeah, an honest person is always going to make a dishonest person uncomfortable. Especially when a dishonest person is pretending they're honest for a living. It's just like, someone that pretends they're tough. When someone really tough walks in the room, they're just going to be uncomfortable because they feel inadequate because they're pretending to be something they're not. And that's the real deal.
Was that a way for you to also... Right. Was that also a way for you to personally, not like expose, but when you're in the industry, you're able to now see exactly, okay, I know because how I'm coming at you, you're a dishonest person. I shouldn't be trusting you. Could you then immediately point them out just based on their reacting to what you're saying as well?
Absolutely. Flags all over the place, You You can tell a racist. You can tell a white supremacist. You can tell a black person that believes that white ice is colder off top. You can tell a person that wants to fit in, you know, that as opposed to take over. You know, I'm the guy that, you know, it's a different mentality. When a slave is talking to a master, the conversation is different. When a soldier is talking to a general, the conversation is different. It's different language. It's a different understanding. Sometimes because there's people that call themselves bosses, but there's different kinds of bosses, right? There's the kind that, you know, they know how to collect a check from an infrastructure that, you know, cuts them and makes the money and gives them maybe a percentage of it. Then there's the kind of boss that actually makes the money and cuts the check to the person that pretends to be the boss that gets the money from the infrastructure that's making money, like, you know, get paid a fee. So I'm the kind of boss that wants to get a company profitable. I don't want to just get paid by another company. I want to be the company. To me, getting a company to be sustainable, then profitable, and have a multiple, that's a boss. You know, but it's, again, I'm not discrediting someone that might just get a royalty. You know what I mean? It's just a different kind of boss. It's a different kind of respect. You know, it's like sometimes I'd have conversations with legends for certain things, and they'd be like, yo, how come certain people get more credit? And how come we're not respected by certain kinds of musicians? I'd be like, you don't play an instrument. It's a different game. You know what I'm saying? So it's a different respect level than, like, someone that plays an instrument is going to, they don't care how many records you sell, they're still not going to look at you as bona fide legit unless you can play an instrument and perform live. If you're performing over a track, even if you sold 10 million records, in certain worlds, you still won't be respected. You might consider yourself a musician, but a real musician won't consider you one.
Yeah.
So there's real businessmen and there's fake ones.
I heard you. Yeah. So I heard you say that anything that works for you, they have to have their own dream as well, which I thought was dope. How important is a team to a boss's success, and how do you build a solid team?
A lot of editing. It's everything, because, you know, it's hard to do everything on your own, and you want people to have understanding and be on the same sheet of paper. But at the end of the day, if someone's not going to fight for themselves, there's no way they're going to fight for you. So if you don't have a dream, and again, I'm a person that says, yo, I don't want people to work for me. I don't believe that having a job, long term is, in the best interest of you or your family. So I'm not going to have anybody work for me all day and build my dream and not have anything to pass to theirs. Just karmically, it doesn't work out. So leading by example, I would be, I wouldn't be practicing what I'm preaching, letting somebody do that. So you have to have a dream that you can fight for, that's yours. So I know you're fighting honestly for mine. And also, I'm going to teach you how to be independent and show you the right way. I'm not going to mislead you and take all of your skills and just use them for my stuff. I just don't think it's right. I like to make partners. I don't like employees.
Yeah. Is that why you wanted, you probably keep your circle so small, though, because that's so hard to come by these days, too.
Yeah, like I said, it's a lot of editing. A lot of people pretend they want the dream, but when it gets given to them or the opportunity, it's like I give you a lotto ticket and you want me to cash it for you. I got to convince you to do it.
Yeah.
I ain't got time for all that.
Yeah.
So, Dane, one thing I've always admired about you is how fearless and assertive you are in business. So, it never seemed like you were passive about anything that you felt wasn't right. So, because to the average person walking into those rooms, especially if you're, one of the few people of color in those rooms, that might get intimidating. You know what I mean? And so there's big money on the table. There's contracts with all this misleading verbiage, and you don't know if these people are snakes in the whole nine. Was there any situation in business where you didn't feel as confident or like you didn't know enough? And if so, how did you deal with it?
Well, I never think I know enough, but I've never been intimidated by any conversation as it relates to business ever. I know that when I start a business, I've just started. I don't have experience in it. So, and then also the way I usually approach it is usually a little unorthodox. So there's never any traditional way that I'm dealing with something. So I'm always putting myself in a place of, let's say, uncomfortable because I'm not used to it. But that's what comes with, starting something the first time. The second and third, I'm all right. But I've never been intimidated by anyone. I always look forward to the smoke. You know what I'm saying? It's just what I want. It's like, I dare you to try to play me because I'm black. I want you to try that. I want you to think you're smarter than me, and I know I'm so much smarter than you. and would probably could smack your nose off your face. You know what I'm saying? So I know, you know, like it's like I'm brains and brawn. At least, you know, the brawn is just when I have to be or to protect myself. But the brain is what they don't anticipate. Pause. They're more scared of the brains than the brawn. You know?
Yeah.
When you're in those meetings too, and you feel like you haven't, there's things you could learn. Are you never afraid also to like ask the why questions? Or
I always ask the why questions. I ask questions all day. I'm very transparent. I never pretend I'm smarter than I am. See, the one thing you have to understand is when you're stupid, you cannot pretend you're smart in a smart room. But when you're smart, you can pretend you're stupid.
Yeah, so we know that there's this political game that people play in business where they won't speak on certain negative things that happen because they don't want to accept, like, because they don't want to offend their political ties and the powers that be. You've always spoken out against the so-called power players, you know, in the game from day one. You know, we've seen, you know, Kanye do it, you know, this past year. But most of them are established people already. Do you think that it would be wise for someone to build a value and create leverage for themselves before they speak out? Or, you know, someone who's considered brand new in any industry speak out?
No. You got to take the industry, bro. I never tried to fit in. I don't give a fuck about those industries. And these so-called power players, I don't think they're power players. I think they're pretending to be power players. That's why I speak to them that way. You know what I mean? If they were power players, they wouldn't be running behind pennies and young people's money and leveraging them. They're like shrimps in the ocean. They're scavengers that are pretending they're bigger than they are. You know what I'm saying? So why would I want to fit into a game if I'm not playing that game? I'm going to be the game. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like what I'm monetizing is my honesty, my actual opinion. So I'm not going to change my opinion to be somebody else. You're not a rock star if you do that. You become a pop star when you do what other people want. I'm a rock star. I don't really give a. I'm not there to fit in. I'm there to get what I need to get off. You know what I mean? I'm not there to be around. I think those people are lame.
I'm sure you have people all day trying to tell you what they think you should do too, and you're like, I'm not doing that shit. I'm not on that.
Well, back about 15 years ago, yeah, but now, nah. You know what I mean? I don't have to come outside. Like those are people I choose not to deal with. It's a life that I don't even understand. When I think back about it, I'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. It's almost like hustling to me. Like, you know, when I wanted to be on the street, it's just as like far removed to me. And in my rear view, I don't deal with anyone I don't want to. And I do keep myself, if I have someone around me that's going to tell me what to do or how to do it, they've done it before and done it better. You know what I'm saying? I do look for people to give me advice. You know what I'm saying? Hey,
so Dance,
can you answer this? This is my cousin in jail.
You're a time traveler.
Yeah, always.
So I heard you said a couple times that you're a time traveler. So you'll go 10 years ahead in the future to see how you want to live and come back to present day and make moves now to live how you want to live then. What investments and moves are you making now to live how you want to live 10 years from now?
Well, you see it. It's the investment in the residual income of the content. So that's the reason why everyone's just launching apps. And, you know, it's the same app I've been trying to tell everybody to launch for years. Now I'm relaunching an app that actually has the ability to sell things. And it's a new business model. It's a new thing. I don't know why no one's doing it. So I'm always going to be a bit 10 years ahead of the game. So, yeah, the things I look into right now is the content, the beginning, middle, and end, you know, being able to make the books and anything that gives residual income from my family, that's what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? But you got to remember, like, I'm a founder. I'm not a person that buys and acquires a company. I have to build the company from ground up, invest in it, lose money until it makes money. And that takes a different kind of breed. You know, it's a game I like to play and a game I like to do. And I'm not trying to hustle on a crowded block. So I got to look to the future. I'm not trying to fit in after everybody else is fitting in. Pause. I don't want to be 2 for 5s or trades. I like to be dimes and 20s. I like to be the weight. You know what I'm saying? So I got to be the first person on the block so I can sell it and put it out anywhere I want, stand out. And, you know, I can dictate the narrative. And that's what I've actually been doing. Like everything everyone's doing, I've been waiting for Disney to catch up. I've been waiting for Netflix to catch up. Now I can do it. I don't have to pay. They have to pay billions of dollars to do that shit. I got to watch them make the mistakes and be able to make and do it the right way. Original programming all day long. But I make the music. I make the clothes. I make the visual. I'll direct that shit. I'll act in that shit. I'll pay for that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'll distribute that shit. I can do it, pause, from the rooter to the tutor.
sales game is so serious.
It's so
It's
fun.
crazy.
We made it up.
Yeah.
We made it up.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
I
yeah,
fucking
you
love
did.
it.
Yeah. Dan, have you ever felt like sometimes you may have spread yourself too thin, like with everything that you do?
I mean, there's times I feel like I need to focus, but because like my plans, my big schemes are like things have to form together like Voltron. So in order to like launch an app, I gotta make the movie, I gotta make the app, I gotta direct the movie, damn near write the movie, I gotta act in the movie, I gotta pay everybody, I gotta dress everybody, I gotta make the music, but it all comes together and I have one product. So it's about prioritizing my focus, and also completion is important, because you can start something
Yeah.
and not finish it. It feels good doing it, but if it don't come out, it don't matter. You know what I mean? So I think finishing therapeutically is important to me. And when the day I finish something is the day I can start something new. But completion is everything.
Yeah.
Are there days with you having so much done, but also being as successful as you are? Are there still days you get like, fuck, I know I have to do this to get to here, to get to here, to do this, to do this. Is it still overwhelming at all?
Nah. I mean, being an entrepreneur is like these problems aren't problems. They're part of the game. So, it's like, what the fuck I'm going to do? I'm going to complain. It's happening. I already know it. So it's like, it's always, for business, it has to get a little dark before it gets bright, or else it's not a good business. It's not going to be sustainable. Fast money it's temporary. So, like, if you're going to get into a fight, a championship match, and you're going to fight 12 rounds, you're going to cry every time you get punched, you're going to get punched. If you get knocked down, it's your job publicly to get back up and fuck some shit up. But at the end of the day, you're not like, why me, or worried about it. You actually know it. I wake up in the morning looking for my problems that are considered problems, because as a boss, my job is to fix problems. My job is to untie knots, not to be happy and celebrate all day the W. It's to turn the loss into a learning experience until it's a W, a win.
That's a gem right there. Yep. Dan, so obviously, we're in a weird time right now, but you grew up in Harlem in the 70s and 80s, and you were able to use, the money that you made to make investments, start companies, and eventually, turn into the mogul that you are now. If you grew up in today's generation with no money, starting at zero, what would be your game plan to become wealthy? Because a lot of people are out here confused. It's very confusing times for a lot of people. So what would you do?
I buy a T-shirt for $5 and sell it for $20.
There you go.
Same principles as it is for drugs, and it's easier because. Pardon?
That's kind of a crowded block though right now too, because a lot of people will do that. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people do that.
Yeah, well, that's what I would do until I have enough. I just have to make sure my T-shirt is the best, and again, I'm not saying a T-shirt I could buy anything. You could buy socks. You could, I make socks. They cost $7 to make. I sell them for $20. You know what I'm saying? But I have to buy so much of them that they cost that much. But my point is, there's always a flip that you can do. And it's easy. Like right now, if you're like young and you're broke, you could do some more shit on Amazon and make some money. Just it's ways to make bread without putting up $1.
Yeah.
So everyone is like figuring out the Uber model or the Airbnb model. It's how to make as much money as you can without putting up $1. You just gotta focus. You have to think, and you have to use Google. You know what I'm saying? And you'll get every answer to every question that you have.
Right.
Like whenever I'm looking for something, I just hit Google. I find it like that.
Yeah. Dan, do you invest in stocks and all that?
Not really.
No.
I invest in some stuff, here and there, but I invest in me more.
Word.
I ain't got time to be looking at shit and be worried about, like, I can't be like, and I know it's a good game and all that, but for that kind of focus on, I have to be in control. I have control issues. I don't like betting on someone else's business accrements, and I like betting on my own. I like being the stock.
Yeah.
Touching on that business stuff, do you think now, in your eyes, being such a serial mogul and entrepreneur, do you feel like now, instead of complaining, there's more ways to get rich, there's more ways for success too?
Yeah, there's so many ways to make money.
Yeah.
But you have to be consistent. You have to be first, and you have to be fearless.
Yeah.
But and you can't anticipate it coming overnight. Overnight money is illegal money usually. So you have to build a brand. You have to lose before you gain. And sometimes sweat equity is the loss. You don't sleep until you get where you got to go. But if you really have a dream, what the f? If you have a dream while you awake, you live in your dream. While you sleep, you live in your dream. All day long. It should be a dream. It's beautiful. I'm living my dream. So anything that's considered a problem is a dream that it is a problem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like my levels of problems are dreams for most people. So I'm going to do it like that. Like people be like, I wish I had your problem. I'm like, you're right. These aren't problems. As long as I'm healthy, as long as I'm not in jail, frustration doesn't bother me like that. You know? Or process. I understand process. You know what I mean? There's levels to this shit.
Right, 100%.
And that whole thing with the flip, like it seems like the structure of the game hasn't changed. There's just more ways to do it now than before.
And
The
digitally.
structure of football is the same. And digitally, exactly.
You can be 30. I can be in 30 places in one day and have 30 conversations in 30 different states and not leave my house. And they're just as effective. And not have to pay for a hotel or for gas or for a jet or for all the shit or going to the mall or being bored and all the things I can't do while I travel. It's so much to do right now because of all the technology that's there.
So Dave, in a lot of black households, we aren't taught financial literacy, you know, for the most part. So
That's on purpose.
obviously- Yeah.
Why you think they don't teach financial literacy in school? Why do you think they don't teach you what to do when you have a lot of money in school? Because they're not teaching you to make a lot of money.
Exactly.
So what people don't understand is having money is a business within itself. If you don't know what to do with a lot of money, you will end up in trouble. And you see it happen all the time. You don't know when to pay taxes. You don't know what capital gains is. You don't know what quarters are. You don't know any of that shit. And they don't teach you that, and you're held accountable regardless. So a lot of people get jammed up just because they didn't know. So my first million, even though it was rather young, I ended up in a lot of trouble because I didn't know what I was supposed to do with that shit. You know what I'm saying? Or even where to put it. Taxes? What the f*** is that? I didn't know.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, yeah, for a lot
Payroll?
of us,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even having a dormant business costs money.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So, you know, for a lot of us, like you said, no one talks to us about cash flow and credit and leverage and how to create passive income and buy assets and all that other stuff. Well, you seem like you had a knack for that at a young age. Did anyone plant those seeds in you early? Like, how did you even, you know, learn all of that? Was that just from trial and error?
I was a drug dealer, bro.
There you go. You know, hey.
That's what taught me everything about business, marketing, branding. You know, I'm not suggesting anyone do it, but when I was young, I did it and was like, oh, I could do this in regular business. But I learned all of that from, and the reason why I'm so fearless is because I used to do this with the recourse being death or jail. That was the, you know, this is no death or jail. I'm not dealing with killers and shit, you know what I'm saying? Or at least, you know, I wasn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. So, Dan, I assume that you are familiar with Dr. Claude Anderson's book, In Concept Powernomics, right?
No, I'm not.
Powernomics. Okay. Well, basically, I haven't, you know, read his book yet, but I've seen a lot of his interviews, and I understand the general concept. Kanye, you know, was talking about it. He was basically saying that the pathway for, you know, people of color and then, you know, black people to kind of like move up in the world is to really just, you know, not everything is a race issue, but really we need to focus on financial literacy. And then, you know, but there tends to be, you know, a super liberal perspective amongst black people and minorities that have like an anti-capitalism mindset. And, you know, I think that anti-capitalist mindset, it might lead us down the wrong path because we need to embrace it and get ours and build legacies that we can pass down and stop relying on the government and everything else. What is your take on that?
I mean, yeah. We have to realize that we're the boss and that like my son already has a company. My son already sells his own socks, these DD socks. You know, Baby Dusko. He's never going to know life without having his own company. It's going to be his normal. So, you know, it's our patterns and what we're programmed to believe is normal, what we accept. So, yeah, it should not be normal to not have your own business. It should not be normal to be told what to do by people. It should not be normal to be always trying to just survive all the time.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to play chess when you're always playing checkers to eat and breathe. But the way the patterns and the way it seems like school and the whole nine, it's meant to put a bunch of debt on you so that you always are behind the eight ball, so that you can't be strategic about your future.
Where can people purchase your son's stocks?
On the Baby Rocky. What's on Baby Dusko now, right? It's up? Baby Dusko Clothing. You already said it. BabyDuskoClothing.com.
Yeah. We'll put that on the screen.
And if you want, I could play the commercial for the new app, the relaunch. I just put that out today. Hey, Nicolette. There's Nicolette.
So you're gonna ask about the Dave Dash Studios. So
So absolutely, with the app coming out, do you guys have a date for that, for the relaunch?
The 11th of February. And not only am I relaunching that, I'm launching over-the-air 24-hour television in Atlanta, LA, and Charleston. But I wanted to send them the commercial real quick, or they got it, or can we play the commercial?
We could play it.
Play it real quick. I'll show you, because it talks about the new features and what's different about this streaming service than others.
Are you guys able to give me permission to share the screen?
Oh, yes. Yeah, let me do that. 1 second.
Okay.
Buddy. Yeah. I was talking about your clothing line, huh? You're doing a promo. Yes, I know. Sneakers.
Is it able to do it now?
No, still not.
I know. Okay. I get it. There we go. Hey, Rock. You right? And we also just finished, we're launching a magazine called Dusko. And, I got, during COVID, I made like 3-4 movies, documentaries, magazines, all type of shit.
I can
Is the
send it to
magazine gonna
him.
be in print?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I have a special issue. Wait, show me. Let me
Should I just send it?
Show me the one with Ava on the front.
Yeah. Were you in?
You
Were
can
you
do
in?
it.
Yeah,
If
I'll
we
just
actually
send it
play
to your phone.
Let's do that.
Yeah, magazine.
I have a special issue.
That's fire.
Yeah, and this particular one, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to put it out. This is one I did on Kanye's rant, but I did one.
Okay.
But that's a special issue. But I'm launching with the issue, a different issue. But I gotta get it printed up. But I just made that. I made samples to show them.
I feel like magazines are turning into like vinyls. You know how
Always,
vinyls are.
absolutely. Anything physical is like vinyl.
Yeah.
So it'll be available digital,
Yeah.
and it'll be available on but also on the app. It comes to life as well. So it's an experience on the app.
Right,
The digital
right.
version of it is very, because I always have the content, huh?
Yeah. How long did it take to really develop and create that app too?
The app. I mean, I've been developing it for 15 years, but
Right.
developing an app sucks because of the maintenance and shit. And like Vimeo, I white labeled Vimeo initially, but I didn't like the way Vimeo was treating me. I couldn't get the data. They were basically dickheads. You know what I'm saying? I don't like Vimeo, but right now I don't like them. I liked them before, but they really, it pushed me to make it. I was always using them until I could make it. So I was like, yo, why can't I sell nothing on it? I need to be able to sell something. It's a commercial to sell something. It's like, my shit's like a high-end home shopping network. While you're watching it, you can buy it. So these are Dusko blanks right here. You know what I'm saying? Dusko blanks.
Okay. Yeah.
So, if I put this on the thing while you looking at me in the interview, you press a button, you can buy it right there. And you can buy books and you can buy music.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth, magazines. And then the 24 hours, digitally is playing 24 hours as well with commercials, but before the paywall, but after the paywall it's subscription. But then I'm gonna be having the network DTV playing, and on cable. And I mean, I'm really, I always wanted a television network. I know nobody's gonna hire me to do it, so I had to do it myself, both ways, and I did it.
Yeah.
All original programming,
Yeah.
movies, it's fun. I get to be creative.
Right. I'm subscribing to that today.
100%. I'm getting that the Bobby T University. Oh my God, that is so fucking fire, dude.
Yeah.
So Dan, we're asking you a lot of questions about business. I I am, we're both hip hop heads. I just have just like a few, just like hip hop questions. So, but Dame, so obviously you've had an impact on the culture from, since the moment that you walked in, that you came in until now. Like, even to this day, you still have rappers still shouting you out to this day. Like in 2020, 2021, on their records, are you still are you aware of like rappers currently still shouting you out? Like, are you aware of that? Of that? I'm just curious.
Yeah.
You are? Yeah.
I've been watching.
Yeah.
I always hear it because my daughters and my kids send it to me, or young people always send it to me. But lately, because I'm getting back I'm in the TV business. I've been watching BET Jams, Revolt, BET Soul. So I see all of the records, and I love it. I'm hyped. I can stun on my kids. But, I'm happy to still have that kind of influence and relevance at 50. You know what I'm saying? I'm 50. I am 50.
Yeah.
That's why I refuse to dye my beard. I want you to know I'm 50. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I'm not trying to look younger. I'm just trying to look good.
Get better.
Yeah, I'm getting vintage.
Exactly.
I'm vintage.
Yeah.
I'm vinyl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right? Yeah. I like that. Do we have the commercial?
Well, we're actually gonna put it on during the editing.
Got it. Okay.
So we're gonna put it on editing, so it's gonna be full quality.
Yeah. So Dan, I heard you said before in other interviews that you're the blueprint of what you want the culture to ultimately be at some point, from being a boss to opening up art galleries around the world and expanding our minds and interests and creating opportunities for each other and sticking with each other. Do you think that the culture is headed in that direction now?
Yeah, it's there. I mean, the art gallery, is already damn near came and went. The DD 172, I think it's going to be about now, monetizing and making your own luxury. I think, as a culture before, we didn't accept our own culture making luxury. But I think, with guys like Kanye and, Louis Vuitton, Virgil, it's making it to where black is aspirational. People actually pay for it. And an expensive variation. You know what I'm saying? It's fashion.
Dan, while you're touching on that, we had actually a question submitted by a good friend of ours named Tim from the mid90s.com, but he actually wanted to know a little bit more about the DD172, which you did form, and kind of that warehouse where we know the Black Keys dropped the album on the label too. But can you tell us a little bit more about DD172 and when you formed it and kind of the inspiration behind it?
Irene sent the thing. Yeah, I mean, it was basically in Tribeca. It wasn't a warehouse. It was really a 3-level building in the most expensive real estate in New York. And you could just Google DD172 galleries under 100. And it was really a place where, people, I was trying to raise Tallulah. And I was trying to ease up off environments that were aggressive. And after the Black Rock project with the Black Keys, a lot of artists started to come around. And I couldn't have them in my crib. So I looked for a place almost to hang out. And it just became this epic center of creativity that we were monetizing. And, it was like a place where people that had already made it could come and do something not for money, just for love. And it was a place for the young kids at the time, like the Wiz Khalifas and the Currencies and the J Electronicas and the ASAP Rockies, like Crit. All of them started at DD172. And I would take them to like Woodstock, and I just wanted to get the content. I got it. You could see it, and then it was not only hip hop. And it was a moment in hip hop where it was the first time I had seen other states hanging out without beefing, and everyone was just getting high. Yeah. It was a good vibe. Smoke Dizza, it was dope. And then Merge came down, and we started doing some West Coast shit. Then we went to China, went to Thailand. And I was just being creative and having a good time and doing it in luxury. But I also did have an oil factory because I was making motor oil where my son used to throw raves. So it was just if I got the keys to the city, I'm going to do some cool shit with it. Not no bum shit. And I'm going to bring something to the table that's going to evolve us as a culture. You know what I'm saying? So I was doing rock and roll and hip hop in synagogues. And I was doing all type of crazy cool shit. And it's all documented. And you can see it all on Dame Dash Studios. At any given day, it would be Citizen Cope, the Disco Biscuits, which is a jam band, and fucking Currency
Yeah.
and Mos Def and Wiz Khalifa and the hip. A lot of them don't know who each other are, but they just catch a vibe and we make music. So many albums got made. You know, it's nuts. How many people I look at on TV now? I'm like, I remember that little guy running around, you know, DD 172. You know, it's crazy because I remember like MIA, like when I, you know, having them in my house in London, teaching, you know, with Nori before they cracked it. They were babies, you know what I'm saying? And watching what they've done as adults, it's just the before and after is really bugged out a lot. It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah. Dang, so you named all these rappers and artists. I remember I seen you say that you would start rapping if the Big Pimpin' video didn't pop. How serious were you about that? And were you nice? Like were you, you know what I mean? Like were you like, was that part of the Rockefeller plan at the time?
No, it was part of the, like, we got to pay the bills. We done spent too much. Shit is fucked up.
Yeah, word.
And it was just like, yo, if this don't work, I'm gonna have to do what I gotta do. So I got drunk and I guess it worked. So we were all right. But, you know, I'm not saying I'm super nice, but I believe that if I wanted to rap, I would have been dead nice. I mean, I do rock music. I can't sing, but I make records that sound really good.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
You already had I mean, well, you definitely had the rapper energy, for sure.
Yeah.
Had, like,
I never really wanted to be a rapper, though.
Persona and everything.
I never wanted to be a rapper.
Yeah, I heard you say that multiple times. Yeah.
What's 20? Okay.
Yeah. You know, this is more so of just a random fan question. Just because I think that you have one of the most fiery personalities that hip hop has ever had. Same thing. You know, how I feel about you is the same way I feel about this person. Have you and Tupac ever met? You know, like have you guys ever like met each other?
Mm-hmm. No.
Because that's super interesting to me. Because I'll think about like him, and then I'll think about like you, and then just the idea of you guys just in one room.
Those personalities.
It's just like really, really just kind of interesting to me. So, and I never really like heard any stories with like Game Dash and Tupac, and so I'm like, oh, like I wonder if they met. But
well, there was a time that there was a little friction between the camps. So our interaction at that time probably wouldn't have been as pleasant. We were looking to get a reason why they were coming at us, but we never got to kick it with him really. You know what I mean? But that would have definitely been interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And plus, you know, we were kicking it with Biggie Smalls at the time. Like that was, and again, it was no disrespect to Pac, but Biggie was with us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was an association kind of thing.
Yeah, it wasn't association. He was friends with us. You know, it was like, yo, come over here. So you know, remember he was jumping in videos and making records and all that. So you know, it was just like we didn't understand I never understood the beef.
Yeah.
Like I was like, why?
So have you ever Dan, have you ever considered having your own podcast? Because people love hearing you talk, and I know the stories that you would tell would be crazy, from all the business things that you've been involved in to your past stories, and you just have so much to share and so much game to share. And every time you speak, the culture is engaged, and I just know that if you had a podcast, you know, it would just shoot up immediately. Is that something you ever considered?
I got a television network. So, you know, the thing is I would do that, but like it would be more like for fun, because the kind of money, you know, I'm not going to disrespect anybody's hustle, but I'm really trying to make $1 billion. You know what I mean? It would take me a while to get the podcast to that point, to get enough streams to make the kind of money I really want to make. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, for me, I'd have to be like, yo, if for me to do a podcast and look at it in the business-wise, it would have to be making me more money than what I'm doing now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just like, if I didn't have shit to do, I'd do it. You know what I mean? If I wasn't making no bread.
Taken away from what's...
Yeah.
Right. Time taken away from the stuff that
right.
Yeah.
Like that much energy, I have to put that into the network so I can sell that shit for $1 billion or get that kind of cash flow.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna...
But I have other people that do podcasts on my network. You know what I mean?
Right.
And also, like, to me, if I'm gonna put a camera, I'm gonna call it a TV show, not a podcast. It's just the audio of a TV show.
There you go. That's a gem right there.
And that's something that we have to credit you on, because I heard you say that you were on the UYL podcast, and I remember you were telling them to don't call it a podcast, call it a show.
Right.
And ever since I heard that, like when we were forming this show, you know, we were talking, and I was like, you know what, like we can't call this a podcast. Like, let's call this a show because eventually we want to leverage this into a real like show. And so I don't even tell people that it's a podcast. When people say it's a podcast, I correct them, and I'm like, no, it's a show. But that's because of what I heard you say when you were on the Early Leisure podcast.
What's the iHeart? This is on iHeart, right?
Yeah. That's where the stream is.
Got it.
Yeah. So so Dan, so for these last, you know, before we get into these last 5 closing questions, tell us what we should look forward to Dame Dash, and for 2021.
Television network, some sick movies, some magazines, some books, clothing. You know, I'm doing a lot with the OSG, which is 90 Black Principles, so curriculum. You know, a lot with the commission. So Senator Eddie Milton and Congressman Andre Carson and Bishop Purnell and Dr. Chris and Taj and Melanie, you know, they're therapists. We're dealing with unrecognized trauma, prison reform, education, health, and economic empowerment. All those things, you know. So that's what you can look forward to, more of that. You know, more evolution.
So you have a book coming out right now?
Well, I have the magazines, but there's, like, for example, Rocky's doing a curriculum with the OSG. It's a syllabus for curriculum. So that book's coming out. The magazines are coming out. Culture Vulture, I'm gonna put it out through the app as well. But you know, it's just everything. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be every single way that you could think. I will be representing my point of view in a very eloquent way, packaging it, whether it's a book, whether it's some vinyl, whether it's some music, whether it's a movie, whether it's clothes, whether it's education, you know, all of it. You know what I mean? Documentaries, we do, you know, Rocky's editing up a documentary about, you know, going through IVF, losing a baby, then going through it again and having a baby, and we have it all documented. So, we have a zombie movie I'm about to shoot. You know, I just did a comedy on Kanye's ranch.
You did comedy?
Yeah, I shot a comedy called Stone.
Okay, nice. Definitely looking forward to checking out all of that.
Do you have to get used to having the cameras rolling all day, or are you just like, man?
I'm not used to not having a camera. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah, you've been having one, yeah. So Dan, so for these last 5 questions, these are more so introspective questions. You can try to give us short answers. It's completely up to you. So Dan, when was the last time that you pushed yourself outside of your comfort zone?
I always do that. Anytime I do a business for the first time, I'm pushing myself outside my comfort zone. But I'm comfortable there.
Nice.
Like last year, I did a rock album. I'm singing. That's way outside my comfort zone.
Yeah.
You know, anything you do for the first time and you self-learn, that's taking yourself out your comfort zone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
like,
Dan,
going to the airport would be something that would be like taking me out my comfort zone. Going outside right now would take me out my comfort zone.
Yeah, I hear you. So Dan, what was the last small act of kindness that you did for someone?
I mean, every day. I can't even begin to start there. That's all I do. A real boss loves others and knows how to love others before they love themselves because they know how to love themselves. But every day I do something like that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, you know, an act of kindness every day. That's every day. Every day.
Yeah.
You know?
So Dan, what is one area of your life?
Like I pass the plug every day.
Every day.
Every day. Yeah. I'm doing an act of kindness right now.
Yeah. Yeah, you are.
That's a fact.
Yeah, it's 100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we're definitely aware of that. Yeah. So Dan, so what is one area of your life, whether that be your family life? I assume it's like your family life because you just had a beautiful baby boy. But what is one area of your life, whether it's your family life, work life, social life, health, spiritual life, whatever it is, that you feel that you need to give some more attention to?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a deep one.
Probably my
But yeah,
I could probably pay more attention to my bread. because
Yeah.
I got a
Right.
stack for my kids, and I just like to, I spend it on making business and being creative.
Right.
Like I'm not a stacker like that.
Yeah, I've heard you say that. And that was interesting as well because you always give solid financial advice, but you say, but you said that you never hold on to money too long because you're always putting it back out there.
Yeah, but I have like a problem. I have a problem though. It's a little different.
Yeah.
Like I just love it. You know what I'm saying? So I could have retired 15 times already, bro. Like I make myself uncomfortable because every time I make 10 million, I put 9 million on the street and have 2 million worth of bills a year. I always do it.
Got you. Yeah. So Dan, what is one good habit that you want to gain and one bad habit that you want to drop?
Focus. I need to focus, but I'm getting there.
Good.
Smoking with Fanta is probably a bad habit, but I it's just no going back. I'm a cowboy about it. So smoking.
Yeah. Got you.
But I don't know that it's bad, but I heard it, but it doesn't really, I can push through a fog. I can work out high, but I just think anything obsessive all day can't be good for you, and I do this shit all day. I'm pretty, I'm not saying there's always room for improvement and evolution, but I'm pretty aware of what I need to do. You know what I mean? Like daily, I find things that, when I find faults in other people, that's when I usually find faults in myself because that's why I can recognize it. So whenever I see something aggravating me, I gotta say, I gotta make sure I'm not doing that. And then I usually figure out that I actually am. And then I unconsciously am the person that I hate at times. And I never want to be that person.
Yeah. Right. So Dan, what is your overall purpose?
To love.
Great answer. There you go.
That's it.
So Dan, if you can, please leave us with some final words for our audience and for everyone out there.
I mean, check Dame Dash Studios. It's launching February 11th. You can buy stuff from it and watch content with a point of view. And then also, if you're in Atlanta, LA, or Charleston, you can get it over the air. And I don't know what channel I'll add for that in a second. And also, it's a new world out there. You should embrace it. Don't be scared of it because you're not familiar with it, because you probably don't like the world you're in from the past. So you should look forward to the future and doing it different. So, pull your skirt up, stop worrying, and embrace the future and plan for it. Architect it so you're not always playing checkers. Play some chess, especially if you can sit in the house. And being that, everyone's getting sick, it's a good time to be home and just being strategic about planning.
Right.
You're not missing anything.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But think about the next 4 months. The world's going to open back up. Are you going to be prepared? Are you going to be asking questions, or are you going to be giving answers? You want to be the one with the answers, not the questions. You want to be a general, not a soldier.
Everyone's going to have a level playing field once it opens up, too.
It's going to be a lot of revenge partying, revenge spending, revenge going outside. So make sure you got some work to sell.
I love it. It's not. These are gems from a legend, by the way. It is not every day that we have a living legend on, like we said at the beginning. But Dan, we can't thank you enough for coming on, and we're looking forward to everything you have coming up. We thank you for the gems that you've laid over your career, and we can't wait to hear everything else and see everything else. And Dan,
I just want to say this: like when we started this show, you were literally the first person that we said wanted to get.
Yeah.
So literally, like the very first person.
We really do appreciate
this
that.
This is a big for us. Appreciate it.
So we appreciate it, man. Thank you, Dan, for taking the time.
It's all good, bro. I'll talk to y'all
Appreciate you.
later.
All right.
All right.
Dan,
Huh?
Dan, really quick. I'm sorry to
Look at that.
one more second of your time. Do you mind if we get a quick drop before we sign you off?
You want me to do a drop?
Yeah, is that okay?
Or like a mic drop?
Oh no.
I don't really do drops like that. I feel funny and shit. You can introduce me though. All right.
I got you. I appreciate it.
All right.
If you want another amazing video with the one and only Dame Dash, check it out right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.